Hey, how y'all doing today, guys? This is Nate, Chris, and Brendan. We're at the Rule of Thirds. How are y'all doing today?
What's up? What's up, guys?
What is going on, people?
I'm about saying Obi-Wan just dropped. And obviously, we had to make a video, first impressions, what we thought about the part one and part two, first two episodes actually dropped at the same
Episodes
time.
1 and 2.
You know what, Nate? Yeah, well, you're right. You're 100% right. We had to drop a video, but we had to do something else too. We had to get our resident Star Wars expert involved.
Oh my gosh, Star Wars expert.
So, Nate, if you don't mind, Brennan, why don't you kind of steer the ship
Whew.
here, man? I know how
Yeah,
you feel about Star Wars.
yeah.
There's not an opinion out there I want to hear more than yours.
Hey, Chris,
So
I honestly,
so kind of walk us through your experience with episode 1 and 2 of Obi-Wan, if you don't mind.
I appreciate that. I definitely appreciate that. First, like impressions, I guess. I mean, yes, Star Wars is near and dear to my heart, I must say. And Obi-Wan especially is near and dear to my heart. One of my favorite characters in the prequels. I just gotta say that I'm glad, like, just even before we even dive into the show, just about all the hype and love that is surrounding the characters from the
Mm,
prequels because they deserve a lot of love, man. Like, I've always stood by this, even when, like, around the time the prequels came out, like, that they were amazing, and I felt like they were very underrated. And, I feel like since the sequels came out, people finally realized, like, dang, the prequels were kind of really good. Like, you cannot
okay.
convince me, nobody can convince me that from the original trilogy, there's any episode, maybe outside of Return of the Jedi, that is better than Revenge of the Sith. Greatest,
Wow. Wow.
greatest,
Okay.
like Star Wars, in my opinion, greatest out of all the sequel and the original trilogy. But Kenobi, I mean, I loved it. I loved it. First of all, starting off with just the
How about that
like
recap?
I was
Everything
about
you
to
just
say that
said. How about
recap.
that
Yes,
recap?
I was just about to say that. Like the recap was so good to see. I don't even know how to explain it. Like it just felt good. It felt so good just going through all the different just aspects of like the original prequels. Like it felt so good to see. It really felt really, really good to see. And just even from where they picked up, like just starting off with Order 66. Like it seems like there's like a theme of all the recent like Star Wars stuff that's come out, just picking up from there, like even with the Bad Batch and um, like just picking up from Order 66 and kind of just like starting there. But honestly, I really, really enjoyed it. I really, really enjoyed it. I loved seeing just how Obi-Wan like has been adjusting, so far to being on Tatooine, like just his daily life and just like how he's like just kind of going about his business, like just the way he was like, he was working and he was just trying to like I don't know, like I look at him and I try to see like the old Revenge of the Sith like Obi-Wan, but obviously like he's in like a transitionary period right now. You know what I mean? Like he's trying to leave that
Mhm.
old identity behind. He's calling himself Ben, and
Cool.
I don't know. I personally I love just the interaction that he had with just like Luke's caretaker. I forgot his name. What was his name? Was it Lars or what's his name?
Uncle Owen, right?
What do you say?
Or,
Uncle Owen?
Oh, Uncle Owen. Yeah. What am I
Yeah.
thinking of? Yeah, Uncle Owen. Yeah. uh just like the interaction that they had and just I I don't know. I feel like so far I've enjoyed it a lot. Even just like seeing like the Grand Inquisitor and seeing a like finally like a live action version of the Grand Inquisitor and just all the different Inquisitors in general. Just I don't know. So far I've been enjoying it quite a lot. And I don't know. I episode 1 and 2 were crazy to me, but I want to see like what you guys think and
So
like
so
how
so
do you
so
guys
Nate,
feel about it?
Nate, I'm gonna serve you up a volley here real quick. So we've watched a lot of things, series. We've talked about a lot of things, but Brennan kind of mentioned it. We got to talk about that recap, that kind of cold opening for Obi-Wan. The recap, episode 1, 2, 3, the relationship. he had with Qui-Gon, Yoda. You see Mace Windu.
Yeah.
I'm sitting there watching that, and like I felt the scope of like everything, and I'm like, wait a minute, it was a different feeling. I'm like, it was different feeling from Marvel, DC. I'm like, wait a minute, this is there's a certain amount of magnitude and importance to
Yeah.
this that
Yeah.
I
For
haven't
sure.
felt. It was almost like hey, we're not gonna let you go into this series thinking that this is just something, another series, another show. No, there's some
Right.
scope, there's some depth, there's some importance to this. Nate,
Right.
what were your first initial thoughts with that kind of
Uh,
opening, and kind of walk me through your initial thoughts of Obi-Wan? Hell, maybe even some expectations. We didn't really
Alright,
get a chance to talk about
alright.
that, but like,
So,
Brennan, you said the word hype, but go ahead,
so
Nate.
I'm probably gonna have the hot take here. Actually,
Uh-oh.
the first two episodes
Oh.
of Obi-Wan, I was not very impressed at all. Actually,
Really?
Oh.
other than
Okay.
Obi-Wan, like the actor of Obi-Wan, I thought the villains were generic. Like I've played a lot of KOTOR and stuff like that. I thought the Inquisitor character were super generic. I thought the setup
Wow.
for the
Okay.
I thought up to the setup for the third sister. Essentially, you could immediately tell that was one of the kids who ran away, and then her background and her beef. I thought it was super
Very
generic.
true.
I played a lot of I played Fallen Order and stuff like that. I've watched out a lot of Star Wars things. I was not impressed at all.
Wow.
Mm.
Like I
Wow.
wasn't.
Wow.
Like
I
Wow.
was sitting there,
it was
looking at.
cool. Yeah, I thought it was cool to see Obi-Wan. Like, but yeah, at least these first two episodes, not impressed. Hopefully,
Wow.
I'm hoping to get
So
some more in. But
interesting.
yeah,
Interesting. You sound like me with the start of WandaVision. Wow. Um, okay. You know what? That's cool. That's healthy. I want it. Wow.
I like
Okay.
that. I like
Okay.
that.
Um,
So
Brennan.
like you felt like yes, go ahead.
No, go ahead and finish your point. Please go ahead and finish your
I'm
point.
saying that so you felt like in terms of like obviously Reva, like her character, like you felt like what did you feel like episode 1 and 2 was missing?
pretty much everything
Like what
that
would you have
happened.
liked to
So pretty much everything that happened in this episode, I was in the episode and like they're just gonna say this, and it happened in those orders. I figured she was gonna say something about Darth Vader, and she did.
So actually I have a question about that. I have a question about that. So, you know, I thought the scene was very amazing.
It was
only
cool
because,
seeing,
like,
but I wasn't
I
like
feel like-
surprised that they brought him up. Like,
right, because like, the reason why I felt like it was amazing was because it was wonderful to see Ewan McGregor's acting in that scene because, like, you could just see
That
the
look we had on his face?
distress the distress, sadness, like just surprise, like just all the expression that he had from just his facial expressions and no words from hearing Reva say like, you know, Lord Vader, like Anakin Skywalker is alive. I loved it just based purely on like the Obi-Wan Ewan McGregor acting situation, and like I felt like surprised almost with him just because his acting was so like very very good. But only problem I have with that, since Nate you brought it up, like, is she supposed to know that that's Anakin Skywalker? Like, aren't people supposed to not really know that? Like, that's like, you know what I mean? Outside of like, you know, Palpatine, obviously Obi-Wan knows, but isn't it a pretty well-known thing that most people don't know that's Anakin Skywalker there? Or am I wrong with my presumption there? Because like she called like Anakin Skywalker by name. She was like, yeah, but like,
so
you know.
I mean, I have a theory, and when I was watching it, I had a theory that was just. I don't think she's who, and I could be wrong. You know, I have no problem being wrong. And I think it's a setup. I don't think she is who she's made out to be. I think she's somebody else, and I could be wrong. I will defer to the both of you before I talk to anyone else. And if you say, Chris, no, that's just not right, I'm cool with it. I'll kind of reveal that, you know, a little later on. But we both kind of touched upon, or all three of us kind of touched upon something And I wonder if this series show, this storyline is going to suffer from something that maybe some of the other shows we reviewed haven't suffered from. And that's a small word. Brennan, you said it once already. Hype. Is this show going to suffer from all the hype built around it, the expectations, based on what Nate had said? And I'm sure he's not the only one that feels that way. Like, I wonder, like, man, well, like, was there too much? Like, when they dropped, you remember this? We watched, what was this, 2 years ago when they announced it. You know, everyone was hype about Obi-Wan. Everyone was super hype about this series, and it was just like, it's got to live up to it, right? You know,
right.
And based off of what Nate's saying, it's not in his mind. Brendan, maybe a little bit, it is in yours. For me, I'm like, wait, there's only 4 more episodes?
Yeah, I know.
And I'm like,
I know.
how is this going to work? Have they signed on to season 2 yet, or like, is it because there's only 4 more episodes?
Yeah,
That's the problem that I have. I'm like, no, hell no, no, absolutely not.
I was gonna say what really pushed me over the edge, at least in these first 2 episodes. Episode 1 actually wasn't too bad. It's episode 2 when they focused on Leia. I hate her character in this so much.
See, I like little Leia. I do.
I like little Leia.
I thought she was annoying. I thought she was annoying. I was like, oh god. I was like,
you know who's really annoying? Her cousin. That's who's annoying.
Yeah, he was too. But I was like, no, if I have to deal with her as like a main character, no. I hate they're the super sophisticated 10-year-old. Like, no, I don't need this.
See,
and then
I get that.
The chase scenes where somehow she's just outrunning Obi-Wan and everybody else, and they show her running, and she's running like a 10-year-old. So it's not like she's speedy. Yeah. And I'm like, no, this is annoying. Any reasonable adult would have caught her immediately.
Yeah, you had Flea from the Red Hot Chili Peppers, and he didn't really help the situation either.
Yeah, I was like,
See, that running scene, as I've rewatched it before we came on today, at first I also kind of highly disliked it because I'm like, yo, like if you don't just grab her or whatever. But like I understand Obi-Wan trying to be like, low key-ish about it, but it did also kind of a little bit annoy me that like he just couldn't catch her for some reason.
He got a sped walking caught up to her. She was literally like she was literally running like a 10-year-old.
And what annoyed me was her reasoning for running was just not justified. I was just like, Leia, like I just saved you. And yes, okay, I am the reason that you're caught, but like you have no reason to run from me. Like I have not, like, I'm not showing, I'm trying to take you back to your dad. Like, why are you running? Like, I didn't really understand her reasoning for running, but overall, like, as a character, I honestly love young Leia.
There's former episodes that the series has time to grow on me. That was rough, man.
I had heard things, online, and I even asked people who at work, about the Obi-Wan series. And again, I'll keep kind of going back to this, just the overall hype factor. Is this series going to suffer from all the hype? Is the series just going to be okay? Is the series going to be, hey man, that series was great, but I wish there was more? Or, I wonder. I really feel like this Obi-Wan series could possibly be like, I don't know, like when you talk about Star Wars and the whole fandom and whatever you want to call universe, if you will, like this is important. Like this is
it's a big series, yeah.
And the way they opened it gave me that sense of like, okay, they want you to feel that sort of importance, and I'm just like, man, like they can't miss. And based off of what Nate's saying, and again, I'm sure he's not the only one. They're strike 2, right?
So
like episode 3's got to be
Yeah.
Episode 3, 4, 5, and 6 have got to be a banger.
Here's the thing. I don't want this to be a 6-episode series, and the whole thing ends up being him doing a rescue mission to drop her off back to her parents. I'm like,
I don't think it will be. I think, honestly,
I think this is it for Leia right now.
Yeah, I think the stuff at Leia is going to wrap up the first 10, 15 minutes of episode.
Minutes of the next episode. I completely agree. I think that's where it ends.
I honestly think that the series, for me, the way it's heading is kind of recapping Order 66, discovering about who Reva is, and the fact that, like, wait a minute, he has to deal with the fact that Anakin's still alive. Anakin's Darth Vader. I think we're going to get and they already kind of teased it. So I got goosebumps in the beginning because the last, you hear Yoda said, "Hey, I got some new teachings for you, how to get in contact." So we're going to see Liam Neeson, and I'm oh, wait a minute, it just happened. I got goosebumps. You know what I mean? That's going to happen. If it's some sort of voice or just real quick image, like that's going to happen. Like I just I'm again I'm just like, how are they going to do this
in 4 more episodes?
Yeah. They got to drop an episode. This got to be like an hour and a half. Or hey, have to, or less 4 or 5.
Oh, I agree.
Or all
I agree.
I don't know, 70 minutes. Like they just I don't know how they can. Yeah, you know what I mean. So,
I believe that. This is why I feel like it probably will be longer. Is because since they're probably gonna be dropping them one, are they gonna be dropping them one at a time, right? So since I guess like they combined the first 2 episodes, like maybe like they were the shorter ones. Hopefully, then another episodes to come will be like hour plus something minutes maybe.
I didn't think about that. So you're thinking they put the first 2 together because those were the shortest 2?
Maybe that's what I'm hoping.
If each one's an hour and a half, I'm good, man.
Me too. I'm good with that. Because I'm with you. I feel like they're gonna need a little bit more time to kind of explain everything and. There's a lot that, like, obviously that's been teased. So it's, you don't want to rush it because I feel like you rush it and, it won't be as potent as it probably could have been. So I agree.
There are 2 scenes I want to talk about. One's from episode 1 and one is from episode 2, where you have Ewan McGregor's character as Obi-Wan confronted with essentially his duty as a Jedi. And this dude pretty much is like, that ain't me. You see the one Jedi who's like, "Hey, Master, blah, blah," and he said, "Hey, you want to save yourself? Take your lightsaber out in the middle of the desert and bury it. Move on." What did you think about that scene? And also when Leia's father reached out to him, Leia's mother and father, reached out to him. He was like, "That's not me anymore." Like, what were your thoughts then? Like, this guy's really, he's really kind of taking it, to heart that, like, he failed. He's coming to terms with his failure as, a master. He failed with Anakin. He might be responsible for every bad thing that happened in the galaxy, all that kind of stuff. What were your thoughts there?
Like, I was like I said, I think that Obi-Wan's character in this has been good. Like, Obi-Wan's character himself is 100%. Good. So far, it's been every other character around him that I've hated so far, which is the issue. But you didn't like Reva, you didn't like Owen,
no, because I felt
you didn't
like Senator Organa.
I thought all the Inquisitors that popped up, the guy who had the just veiny face, the leader guy who had the weird eye makeup, and the third chick who popped up after they landed on the planet were just super generic villains. That's literally all they seemed like, was just generic, we're not going to be here very long villains. and to be honest, episode 1, episode 2, one of them was already out of there, so filling the roles. But
so
yeah,
do you think, Nate? This is just a question. Who is the villain after 2 episodes? Who's the villain in this series?
I think the main antagonist is gonna be the third sister, Reva. Like, I think she's gonna be the main antagonist. But here's the thing.
I don't.
I don't even think she's gonna
no.
remain as a, I don't even I don't even think she's gonna remain as an antagonist. Cause I'm pretty sure she was that one little girl Jedi who was like, "We gotta run." I'm 100% positive. I bet you that's her, and they turned her from a Jedi into a Inquisitor, and that's why they don't get the respect for her. Cause like, you were once a Jedi, blah blah blah, and they just kept it moving.
So everything about that makes sense except what Brennan said about 10 minutes ago. If she's just that one little Jedi who said, "Hey, let's all run," and you might be right. Again, I'll defer. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But how does she know Darth Vader's Anakin Skywalker?
That part's not explained, but she knows who Anakin Skywalker is because all the kids at the Jedi Temple knows who Anakin Skywalker is.
Oh yeah, we all know they know who he
is. Yeah.
But okay, even I'll ask it backwards. How do they know he's Darth Vader? How do they know
that
even like because it's like knowing that even Darth Vader.
Yeah.
It's like knowing that even Darth Vader, you don't mention that old name around him. It's like it's like.
How do you even?
Yeah. So like that's the part they gotta. That's the part they gotta explain. That's the part I gotta figure out.
See, there was something that happened in that opening. Okay, and again, I'm gonna throw it out there. If y'all just chop it off, go ahead and chop it off. But I'm gonna throw it out there. There was something in that opening, and I want to go back and watch it. But there was like a little hint and a little nod to somebody. I was just like, oh, okay. And they were talking about, Obi-Wan. Anakin was talking about Obi-Wan. He was talking about his master. Was saying, at his full potential, he's as smart as Yoda, and he's as strong as somebody else. I was just like,
Mace Windu. He said Mace Windu.
He said Mace Windu. I'm just like, okay. And again, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Shoot me down, please, because I don't want to be out there. I don't want to be, left.
Mm.
Could Reva somehow be related to Mace Windu? Because that to me makes sense of how she knows that that's Anakin Skywalker, and the fact that.
But how would that make her?
They both were there when Mace Windu was killed or supposedly killed. So maybe she's looking for Obi-Wan, not to say you could have saved us from Order 66, but you could have saved my father.
Yeah, but they said most Jedi don't got kids. I mean, Mace Windu said he. It ain't never been popped up unless they just want to pop up. Yeah, suddenly Mace Windu also got kids.
Do we know? Okay, even still, do we know if Mace Windu had a Padawan?
That I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like
because that's where my head started going. I'm like she's after Obi-Wan for something real deep and personal. It ain't just Order 66.
Yeah, I was gonna say
it's some deep rooted stuff.
I was gonna say because it definitely seems like it's more personal with Obi-Wan. Like I don't know if it's like her trying to get in high regards with Vader, so that's why she's trying to go after Obi-Wan. But it seems like she's very personally trying to capture Obi-Wan. I mean, granted, Obi-Wan is like one of the last, I guess, big Jedi known, but I mean, Yoda is still out there. I mean, that's pretty well known. So she's not really actively pursuing Yoda. So it does seem like it's a little bit personal with Obi-Wan.
And I would say,
I don't know if it's to get into the good graces with Darth Vader or.
No, I would say in terms of if she knows he's Anakin / Darth Vader, then she probably more than likely knows that that's his old teacher. And that's probably the big.
I also have.
That's probably the big, but that's probably the big payout. Like if you captured his old teacher, the guy who put him in the predicament he's in now, with missing a leg, missing an arm, all burnt up. Maybe that might get him get a few special extra points.
The only other thing is if Anakin, Darth Vader, pulled her aside, was like, "I'm gonna tell you something, and you can't tell anybody. You're gonna be the most powerful Inquisitor, and you're gonna go through all this kind of stuff, but I need you to find this dude." I don't give a damn what the other Inquisitors say you have to do. I need you to do this for me. That's the only other scenario where I'm like, why is this so personal? It's almost like, I almost hate to say it, but it's almost like in some way, shape, or form, I kind of felt it, because she didn't use the whole Jedi mind trick on Owen, and she could have, but she didn't. She threatened his family, but she didn't. She didn't do any of that. I'm just like, man, she's after something else. She's after. It could be, Nate. To your point, it could be she could have been a little girl. Where were you at to save me? But to Brennan's point, I'm just like, how does she know that Vader's Anakin Skywalker? And I'm just like, Mace
Now
Windu. That because they've already kind of, in so many ways said Mace Windu's still alive. We found you in the gut. You heard what the other dude said. We found you in the gutter and all this kind of stuff. I'm like, man, it could be like some Mace Windu type shit. I'm still
now
alive. Don't tell anybody.
I also have like a counter theory a little bit to that because like I do know like obviously like she like in episode 2 whenever she was tracking down Obi-Wan and there was that fake Jedi guy, like she did like go into his mind to see where Obi-Wan was heading. So I don't know if maybe, and like even whenever she had her interaction with Obi-Wan before he went on the ship, like she could feel that he was there and like feel his emotions and feel the fear. So like whenever she mentioned Vader's name, like I don't know if that's maybe the moment where she like was peering into Obi-Wan's mind and he was connecting the fact that Vader and Anakin Skywalker are the same person and that's why she mentioned him by name, or she knows. So I don't know. It's like I don't really know if it's like which one it is. Like if she knows, but she also didn't have any surprise when she said it. Like she wasn't like, oh, Anakin and Vader are the same person. Like she was just like, oh yeah, Anakin's alive. Yeah. So like I feel like she had to have known for some reason. But
I also think that's why we talked about earlier. Why like he's gonna drop Leia off and be like, I got unfinished business. I got work. That's the thing. And again, how does she know that? That's what I keep going to. Somebody told her. If it wasn't Anakin, if it wasn't Darth Vader himself, it was some other powerful ass Jedi was just like, here's what you need to say to this dude right now to get this guy back into the fight. Because he obviously does get back into the fight, right?
But here's another thing.
Right.
So how do you know?
I'll say this because we don't have any backtraining. I'm like I said, I'm pretty sure she's a Jedi turned Inquisitor. We don't have any backtraining of who trained her to be an Inquisitor, or what knowledge they gave about why you should be switching to the dark side. If they happen to say, "Hey, look at what Anakin, he's about to die," now he's Darth Vader.
She's definitely a Jedi turned Inquisitor.
Yeah.
Because I mean, they would not have shown that Order 66 scene if she wasn't. I feel like that Order 66 scene would have been completely useless if one of those children weren't her. Honestly, it would have just been like thrown in there for no reason.
Yeah. First of all, I love that concept, the whole Jedi turned bad, the whole Inquisitor thing. I just think that's a dope concept, and I wish they would explore more of that. Maybe we'll get more of this in this series, but like, I get, and it's crazy because I think we're all kind of feeling the same way that Reva is kind of where the storyline is kind of headed. Yes, there's Obi-Wan, there's Anakin, but we feel like the story is like, who the hell is she?
Now, I also feel like that, but I also agree with Nate in a way where I do feel like we're not going to be seeing much of her. Like, I don't know. Like, I feel like she might be out of there sooner than I think we will. Like, for some reason. Really? I don't know why. I feel like...
So you think she just gives up on the chat? No, she's not giving up. She ain't giving up. She ain't giving up. And you're gonna see her till the very end. And my opinion is that like she's been after Obi-Wan, not necessarily to hunt him down, but maybe to either save him or like bring him back. That's my feeling. It's like she's going to look. We already saw. I already saw like some of the red carpet stuff, and like she's a star of the show. She is. It was like it was her, Ewan McGregor, Hayden Christensen that are like the star of the show. She's not going anywhere. So I really think like at the end, like she might be like she might have dude cornered and like, oh, this is it, and she's going to say something to him like something, something like something that he would only know, and just be like, oh, wait a minute, this is something different.
Right.
And I really I think she dropped the name Anakin Skywalker. Number one, someone told her.
Well,
someone told her.
I'm gonna say is
Go
at
ahead,
the end of the day, they got to get back to ground zero, which is Obi-Wan Kenobi being back on that planet is old man Ben, and there ain't no Inquisitors around.
Hang on. I'll even take it a step further. Because this is something that I was really hoping they would do a live action part of. And Brennan, help me. Clone Wars. The whole Darth Maul fight. Is anyone else want to see a live action?
I would love that.
I would love that so badly.
As I said, there's some chance for the show to redeem itself. Like, I think that we're going to see the backstory for Third Sister. I think they're using her thirst for power against her because the whole Order 66 feeling powerless. Hey, and like this is just a theory. I think whoever trained her told her about the whole Anakin, whatever. Because whoever's training the Inquisitors is more than likely up there.
It's one of two people. It's either Anakin himself, because the other Inquisitors are already looking to do away with her. So by episode 3. She's going to be an outcast. She's going to be on her own mission. She's not going to be messing around with the other Inquisitors. So she's either on a mission directly appointed from Vader himself, or it's some other deep-rooted stuff, which for me, I'm just like, man, why did they put that little Mace Windu nugget in there? And could this have been Mace Windu's apprentice? And is Mace Windu's, everyone has, I've seen it, rumors where Mace Windu's still alive. He could have survived the fall.
I've also heard those.
Listen,
there's not a dead body. You're
what a better time to bring that character back.
If they bring back Mace Windu, this series is a 10 out of 10 for me. I don't care.
I think that would be cool. I don't think
that's where I think this is going. I really do.
If they do that,
that would be really cool. I don't think so. The thing, as much as I think, I don't think they're ever going to bring Mace Windu back into the series.
I don't either. But if they did, that would be like next level.
Because for the simple fact, if they do a scene, some sort of dream sequence, some sort of whatever, and Qui-Gon comes back. And how can you not? How can you not? I mean, they've never really dove into the whole Force Ghost thing. They haven't. They've never really dove into that thing of this sort of no one ever really dies kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
They never dove into that. But with that concept, no one ever really dies.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
You didn't see Luke. You had the older Obi-Wan in episode 4 essentially give himself up, talking about my training. Like, I'm good. Like, I'll be fine.
Right.
I'll be fine.
Right.
And man, that's the thing where I'm just like, man, is this? I don't know.
I feel like there's a lot of.
I'm already bummed out to kind of piggyback what Nate said. Not that I'm disappointed, but I'm just like, yo, wait a minute. This is Obi-Wan. Like, there's a lot to tell about this dude.
Mm-hmm.
We got 4 more episodes. Like, I'm already disappointed. Like, there's only 4 more episodes. There's only 4 more episodes.
Right. I do feel like the first 2 episodes were a little slow. I anticipate and do believe that the next couple episodes will be more like just not action packed, but just more interesting and diving more into like just the story of Obi-Wan. Because the first 2 episodes, as much as I love seeing how his life has been on Tatooine, there was like 3 moments like where he's like, cutting the meat and going to like, what I mean? Like, you could have made it like 2, like half of that. And just like, what I mean? Like, I do think it was a little slow. That whole Leia chase scene was longer than any of us would have wanted. I think they could dive into things a lot quicker, but I believe in them. I know it's only 4 episodes left. I don't know if it's going to be longer than 50 minutes or whatever, but I believe that these 4 episodes are going to be like the most action-packed episodes of the entire series. I do believe that.
There was one scene, in my opinion, maybe 2 scenes, but there's one scene I think needed to happen, which was the dialogue between Obi-Wan and Owen, where Oh, and called him out. He said, the only reason you care about this boy is so you can train him, so you can
Hmm.
essentially right the wrongs you did with his father. And I
Hmm.
loved that. I was like, oh,
Me too. Me too.
oh.
Yeah.
And I love that. I mean, we there have been so many different scenarios, and I think we talked about a couple of them, where essentially Obi-Wan, you know what I mean? A lot of people will say, like, if Qui-Gon, if Anakin was Qui-Gon's apprentice, he would
Yeah.
have ended up completely different. Obi-Wan was still young,
I don't believe
didn't
that
know
though.
didn't know anything about that. You know what I mean? He
Mm.
always thought he saw the kid as a burden. He wasn't that father figure, and that's why he was so susceptible to being turned. Anyway, but
Even though I don't believe that.
it's like one of the only scenes I was just like, okay, this is necessary. This had to happen. He needs to be
Yeah.
called out on his shit. Like, hey, dog, like the only reason you cared about this boy is because you want to train him and you want to try
Hmm.
and right the wrongs you did with his father. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
I love that. You know,
You know, I thought
that's
that's.
like I hope. Here's I don't want him, and I get it now. I definitely get it now. I don't want Obi-Wan to drop Leia off and go back to Tatooine talking about how's Luke. Is he cool? Is he good? Man, get your ass out in the
Mm.
fight.
Right.
You know
Right.
what I mean? Like, man, Luke gonna be cool. Everybody knows he's gonna
Yeah.
be cool.
Everybody knows it's
He'll
going
be
to be cool.
good. He'll be
Honestly,
good. Everybody knows
that
that.
that's part of the reason why I like that they focus on Leia because I feel like we don't really need to talk about Luke to be honest. Like we already
We know where
know
we know
everything.
where his story's going.
We know where his story's going. Like I'm kind of
Great,
glad that they
great,
focus on
great
Leia.
point.
Honestly,
Great point.
I'm glad that they
Great
did
point.
because like I feel like we've gotten so much Luke doses lately. Honestly, like I was like, okay, we love him, but I'm kind of glad that they focused on young Leia Organa's life a little bit and like how she experienced how she's similar to Padme, how she's similar to Anakin because we already know like how Luke is very similar to Anakin in those ways. So it was very interesting to see Leia as she's growing up, how she's similar to
I
Padme,
mean,
how
you
Obi
see that
Wan
rebellious nature? Yeah,
yeah, how
yeah.
Obi
You see
Wan
him.
felt like how she was like very similar to her like when he was like yeah like you remind me of an old friend, and how she's similar to like Anakin also in a way. So I like that they shifted to Leia for that very reason you're talking about, Chris, because Luke is good. We already know it's fine, but like
Yeah,
Obi
I mean,
Wan.
he doesn't need to go back to Tatooine. And honestly, shout out to Joel Egerton because he's a dope ass actor as Uncle Owen. But we don't need to see his ass anymore. We don't like he had his
Yeah.
scene. Like he's a cool actor, great actor. I don't know if you've ever seen any of his movies. He's a phenomenal actor.
Mm.
We don't need to see any more of his stuff. We don't.
I hope the series, like the next time we see Obi Wan on Tatooine is at the end of the series. Like he just doesn't even go
Okay,
back.
okay, Brennan. To your point. I hope the last ending scene. Y'all can't see them, but they're there.
Mm.
I hope the last ending scene, and I don't think it will be, is where he's sitting around a fire and somebody approaches.
Oh my gosh, there's no way.
Oh,
But Obi Wan is.
both of y'all know what I'm talking about. Both of y'all know what I'm
I
talking
know
about.
exactly what you're talking about. But Obi Wan's much older then when that happens, though, right?
Yeah, he's great. Like,
That's my point. That's why I'm saying you can't tell the Obi-Wan story in 4 more episodes.
That's the thing. I don't.
This has got to be like series 1, 2. This is what I'm saying. This series, and for
well, they did the
forgive
Book of
me
Boba in
again,
6 episodes. Or what? They did the book. They did
Only
the
the
book of
Mandalorian gets
They did the Book of Boba in 6 episodes.
No,
half
man.
of those episodes weren't even his.
Way too much stuff already written and that has happened with Obi-Wan, and it's just come. I mean, who also felt the whole scene when he saw the other clone trooper, and we just like, man, like he was thinking about Rex, he was thinking about all his boys.
Cody, yeah.
Thank you. And it was like,
Yeah.
man, there's way too much stuff to tell about this dude.
Yeah.
And you tell me that this is just a one-off series, and there's 4 more episodes. There's way too much. That's why I'm like, man, they need to go ahead and make this like
multiple
3.
seasons.
Thank you.
Because because we're 10 years after Revenge of the Sith, but we're also 9 years before A New Hope. So there's still a lot of time in between before that you could really tell stories about. So
Man, there better be like some old like Obi-Wan will return in series 2. Like there's just too much stuff. And honestly, I'm like, you didn't jerk everybody's chain with that opening talking about episode 1, 2. It's like like, come on, man. There's way too much stuff here. There's way too much stuff.
yeah,
Stuff I don't
and
even
like
know about. I'm getting animated about stuff, the little stuff that I know, but I know you know, Brennan.
yeah,
I know you know way more than I do, and I'm like, man, there's 4 fucking episodes left. Hell no, no.
yeah, I know. Yeah, I
Hell
know.
no. No. I'm not cool with that. But no,
I
no.
agree. I agree with that. I definitely agree with that too. I definitely agree with that.
Unless each episode is like 2 hours long, and if they pull that off, man, I'm cool with that.
Only The Mandalorian gets multiple
Episode
seasons.
3 is like an hour and 56 minutes, man.
Only The Mandalorian gets multiple seasons. Nothing else.
I'm gonna be honest with you. Say something. As cool as The Mandalorian is, shout out to Dave Filoni and John Favreau.
What, The Mandalorian has what, 4 seasons?
Yes, but I don't feel like the way they have positioned this series. If it's just a one-off, like I'm gonna be hurt. I'm gonna be like, man,
I'm gonna be hurt as well.
I'm gonna have so much shit to talk. I'm gonna have so much shit to talk. But in my opinion, the Obi-Wan series, from everything from Clone Wars to Rebels to just everything that's out there, this series, and I really think maybe I just felt that with that opening. It's that important. It's that important.
No, because I mean, when you talk about the Star Wars universe, you obviously look at the Skywalkers, of course, and there's no other person that is in such relation and like that like binds a lot of the Skywalkers in the story than Obi-Wan Kenobi. I mean, there's like so much like that connects with him, and I feel like honestly, like he's like one of the most important.
Exactly. Hold on, what happened? You froze. What happened? What happened? What happened, B?
Like I feel like we see multiple seasons as well, but what'd you say?
Yeah, okay, you froze for a second. My bad. You're good. You're good.
Okay, good. I was saying like he's so important to like the Star Wars story, and like I feel like giving him just one season is a little bit of an injustice. Like I hope he also gets multiple seasons too, because like you said, from the Clone Wars, seeing the the whole recapping everything, like it gave me chills, honestly, like because it had like one of like my most favorite scenes in it, like from episode 1, whenever like Qui-Gon's like, Obi-Wan Kenobi, this is Anakin Skywalker, and you just know that they have so much that's about to be going on between them, like, and like it's like you said, it's so important. It's so important, and like
Here's something I want to say, and I think it's true. I really think it's true. I think it's valid. You think of Star Wars, the whole mythos, the whole whatever, right? You talk about Luke. If you were to ask anybody off the street, hey, who are the characters you know from Star Wars? They're going to say 1, who? Vader, right? Mm-hmm. 2, Luke. 3, Yoda, right?
I would say 3 people will probably say like Han Solo. Like I just have to like people would just yeah.
No, you're right. Han Solo, Leia, Yoda, Obi-Wan. You're like Chewbacca. Thank you, Chewbacca.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But everybody's number 1, I believe, is who?
Probably Darth Vader and Anakin.
Vader. Yeah.
Here's my point. Obi-Wan, you ready for this? Obi-Wan legitimizes Vader. You cannot have one without the other.
I agree.
You cannot have one without the other.
I agree.
We never saw Anakin at his full potential. True. Obi-Wan defeated him, made him what he is. He is not Vader without
Obi-Wan.
Obi-Wan.
Right. Correct. Correct. Correct.
Okay?
Correct.
Obi-Wan does not choose the path that he's on knowing what. And here's the scene I want to see. Obi-Wan does not choose the path he's on until he realizes, oh shit, I'm an uncle.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And his kids.
Mm-hmm.
And I already know, and I'm going to buy it. I already know. Shout out to Marvel. Marvel did a series, a short run, that was solely based on the fact that Anakin, Vader, found out he was a dad, and it was all hidden from him. And you talk about like going ape shit, and just everybody was on notice. He was like Denzel in Training Day. I'm putting cases out on all your asses. Okay?
Yeah.
Okay? I just think you can't have one without the other. So you're Hayden Christensen's in it. What are they going to do? A dream sequence? I've heard there's fight scenes. I heard as
well. There are fight scenes as well. They had the train storm, which I'm excited for.
I'm like, man, there's no way in hell you're going to give me all this. And I'm gonna go back to my original point, and maybe we can end it there. Hype. There's no way in hell you can deliver on all the hype and everything we're supposed to get with this series in 4 more episodes. Unless, Brennan, to your point, they're 2 hours. If they are, oh God, yes, let's go.
Right.
Let's go. But man, again, my fear is that this series, if they have not already greenlit a series 2 or whatever, which why wouldn't they? You're doing this run with the Mandalorian. You're doing Ahsoka. You did the Book of Boba, which, let's be honest, Book of Boba was all right. It was good.
It was the Mandalorian season 3.5.
Yeah, yes, it was.
2.5.
2.5. Sorry, 2.5.
That's what I said. I said Mandalorian had 4 seasons. They had 1, 2, 3, Book of Boba, and 4, and then 3. Yeah.
But let's just go ahead and take out episode 3 and 4 from the Book of Boba, which
Book of
was
Boba was great.
Mandalorian.
I'm not complaining about it. It was wonderful.
It was wonderful, but it wasn't. I disagree. It was okay. It was good because we saw Ahsoka, Mandalorian, and Luke and Grogu.
Oh no, I honestly no. I actually disagree because I feel like it was good before they showed up.
No. Look, Brennan, look at me. There's not anybody out there you can convince that the Book of Boba would have been as well received as it was if they would have omitted Grogu, Mando, Ahsoka, and Luke.
Hold on, no. I think honestly, so I genuinely believe with adding.
You've had some time off, Brennan. You've had some time off. Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Wait.
I'm gonna need you to sharpen that sword and get back in the game. Okay, Brennan.
I'm serious. Hold on. Hot take. I genuinely believe the input of Grogu, especially, and Mando's relationship lowered the value of Boba Fett as a series. I genuinely believe that because that did not need to happen in that series. Like the reunion of like Grogu and Mando, and like that was not that series for it to take place. It was wonderful. Don't get me wrong, but like hearing about like Boba's like obviously like interactions with like like obviously coming out of like the situation he came out of and his interaction with like the Sand People and everything, that was fairly interesting. And it's like obviously meeting Fennec Shand.
The first 2 episodes were dope.
100%. I feel like when they incorporated Grogu and Grogu getting rescued and that honestly lowered the value for me because it felt like Mandalorian season 3. Like I felt like I wasn't even watching that series, like the series I was watching anymore. Like it was good for what happened and seeing Ahsoka and Luke, but like I just felt like the input was wrong. Like I felt like the highlight was seeing Cad Bane. That was really when it was up here. But then when Grogu and Mando came in, I was like, yay. Hearing the flute was like, yay, but it lowered like the value for me in that season. Like I just felt like it was like.
Then you brought out Luke again, and you brought out Ahsoka, and I was like, oh.
You had the fact that the fact that like it should have been just a bounty hunter show. You had Boba Fett, you had oh god, I can't think of her name. Fennec Shan, you had Black Chrysanthemum. You know, it should have just been a bounty hunter show.
Yo, even if Mando came and helped, I would have been fine with it.
Yeah,
but like
I would have just had more scenes with Boba Fett and Cad Bane, like the old kind of old gunslinger, new gunslinger, sitting down with beer, talking about, hey, young blood. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? That kind of stuff, right?
Yeah, I agree.
Hey, man, look, you know, we didn't have our differences before. It was nothing personal. You know what I mean? Cool, but check this out. This is, you know, I'm running with a big, you know, operation right now, and you're in the way. Boba Fett saying, "Oh, okay, old head. I feel you, but no, it's not about to go down the way you think it is." I would have just loved more of that dialect. I would have loved even Fennec Shan and
Cad Bane talking.
Okay. First of all,
we talked about this. If you guys want to hear about
they acted like they never even seen each other before.
You guys go back to the last review.
I'm telling you why the Book of Boba Fett, in the grand scheme of things, was a disappointment.
Rob talking. We were talking about Obi-Wan, and somehow this has drifted into why.
No. We're going back to that. But I have one word. I'm gonna tell you one word. One word. Why the Book of Boba Fett was a disappointment. You ready? I have one word. Ready?
Go ahead. Yeah.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I can hear you.
Omega. Moving on.
True.
If you guys want to hear the rest of that, you go check out the review. You know what I mean? But with Kenobi, like,
Obi-Wan. Hey, let's go ahead and wrap up Obi-Wan.
Yep.
Thoughts, predictions, feelings going forward. Nate, you go first.
So overall, where Obi-Wan currently stands for me, I think Obi-Wan's pretty average at the moment for me. I don't think it's like super bad. I think Obi-Wan, like Ethan, it plays his role really well. He gives you a convincing Obi-Wan 100%. Like so, like 100%. The character's on point.
1000%.
Now, in terms of some of these other characters and some of how the plot has developed so far in the first 2 episodes, there has not been a lot of plot developed in the first 2 episodes. And I personally found most of the Inquisitors to be generic characters. Hopefully, they expand on the third sister, which I think they will. They're gonna deep dive into her character, so she gets fleshed out some more. But right now, she just seems like angry revenge girl.
She does. I'm not gonna lie. Nate, you're right there.
That's like
I honestly don't know how her and the Grand Inquisitor ever got along. It just
seems like you could literally go everything you can do to get revenge for reasons we don't even know yet. But like I said, they have 4 episodes. It's a lot done for them to explain all this stuff in 4 episodes. But I'm gonna give them the benefit of the doubt. But right now, like I said, I feel like the first episodes were pretty average to me, personally.
Fair.
What you thinking,
Brennan?
You know, I'm gonna like sort of bounce off of that a little bit. I wasn't too disappointed by the first 2 episodes. You know, like I said, I was wonderful to see Leia. It was wonderful to see Alderaan before it gets exploded.
Alderaan pieces everywhere.
And it's a beautiful planet. You know what I mean? Before it got Death Starred, but in all seriousness, like I honestly have enjoyed it so far. I'm excited. I feel like I do believe in this series to make these last 4 episodes very interesting. I think I almost feel like the first 2 episodes were meant to be slow. Now that you know, obviously Obi-Wan has discovered that Anakin is still alive and Darth Vader is still alive, I really feel like it's going to pick up from here. So I have faith in that. Obviously, like secondly with Nate, like I do believe that they're going to dive more into Reva's character and why she's so angry and why she particularly is targeting Obi-Wan. So I'm interested to see that. I'm interested to see the lightsaber duels. So I have faith. I have faith.
I
And
do want some
Ewan
lightsaber
McGregor,
duels. That'll probably help
you
it a lot for me as well. Seeing some lightsaber duels
for sure.
Cause we
I
got
agree.
none of
'Cause,
that.
like,
So far, Obi-Wan doesn't even want to use his lightsaber. It's like he's scared to fucking turn it on. He's like,
yeah, he looks,
he's like,
looks a little rusty. I mean, you even saw how he used the Force to pick up Leia. That man's been out of the game. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
he's coming back in. He's coming back in, and obviously lightsaber duels post original trilogy are always decent, except for the sequels. I mean, I don't know what I don't know what they were doing in the last Rise of Skywalker, but I believe in. Yeah, I mean, you know,
they don't know what they were doing either. So
I thought I was the only one that went off. I thought I was the only one that went off on tangents, but I guess not.
Oh, sorry. But I apologize, but yeah.
He said the Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah, that those lightsaber battles were not good. That last battle between obviously, but anyways, I'm not gonna dive into it. But like I said, I I have faith. I think it's gonna be very, very good. I'm looking forward to lightsaber battles. I'm looking forward to just everything, and so hopefully some surprises along the way. Go ahead, Chris.
I guess I'll take it home. Again, I'm still wondering how they're going to, encapsulate that feeling that you felt with the opening of the series, running, 1 through 3, Revenge of the Sith. Yoda talking about teachings of Qui-Gon, and there's just so much. There's just almost I feel like there's too much to unpack, too much to dive into in just 4 more episodes. So to me, I'm like, okay, they're not going to do it, or have they negotiated a season 2, which I think would be great. I really do. There's just too much. I think Obi-Wan is that important to the Star Wars mythos that it shouldn't be shortchanged. This should be everything it needs to be to tell his story, but also connect the dots to other stories that are out there. We talked about Clone Wars. We talked about, Cody. We talked about, the fact that, Leia reaches out to him, back to him in A New Hope. You know what I mean? Like, why?
Exactly.
Is it because of what he did as when she was 10? Or was there something else he did? You know what I mean? I think Obi-Wan is just one of those characters where, unlike Luke, what they did with Luke, based off of Brennan's point, with what they did, with him in the new series, Obi-Wan was one of those characters where we can kind of grow and follow and absorb that kind of that time, and just be like, man, this is how things went down. Not only, but I said it before, Obi-Wan legitimizes Anakin / Vader, and the opposite. In a lot of ways, they're equals. They're the same. I mean, they're both flawed. I think the interesting point in this series so far is Reva. Who is she? I believe something different from these two, which is cool. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But the question of just like, how does she know Vader's Anakin? And I really believe she's after Obi-Wan for a different reason than it's made out to be seen so far. I could be wrong. I don't know. I don't think we need to see Luke. We know he's going to be cool. Shout out to Luke.
If it makes you feel any better, the character who played Luke was only listed for 2 episodes, and 2 episodes are done. So.
Shout out.
See, they knew what they were doing.
Shout out to Red Hot Chili Peppers. But
he was also only listed for 2 episodes. He's out of there.
Episode 3, 4, 5, and 6, in my opinion, to really make this series what it needs to be, have to be with no hype. I used that word earlier. Episode 3, 4, 5, and 6 might have to be the best things we've seen from Star Wars yet. No pressure.
No pressure.
No pressure. And I'm gonna end it there. I'm ended there. I'm ended there.
I agree with that statement.
I'm ended there. Nate, take us home.
I think it's about a good time for us to be an hour in. I got work in the morning.
My man.
But
my man.
once again, we always thank y'all guys for
families with veterans, anyone lost loved ones. Hey, definitely my condolences. Appreciate everyone's service out there.
I agree.
For this weekend, but hug your loved ones, tell them you love them. Take that opportunity to do so.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
All right, but once again, we always want to thank everybody who stuck with us throughout the whole video. We always appreciate everybody who watches to the end. It definitely really helps us out. If you could like and subscribe, we also appreciate that. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. We really, really appreciate it. Thank y'all. Y'all have a good night.